So another band I was in, we played the same song. They didn't sing it. What happened here?
What's that say?
What says the Periscope? Periscope. Did I click to reconnect? Click here to reconnect?
Yeah.
The Twitter?
Let me check their name. Maybe they're not using it this time. Yeah.
No. You know what? It's on Facebook and YouTube. You think it was scary?
Yeah, people are watching already.
Turn that up. That's up.
No.
No, it's not. No, they don't bring that up.
No, they don't. Do you have Facebook on? Can you connect the screen?
We got a charger. Perfect. Charger phone. Or recharging battery. That's not how this song goes.
Oh, are we not on a shared universe?
No, you're gonna type in Daniel Zielinski. Or Dennis. Dennis. Probably couldn't hear anything.
I think we heard up. I heard. Wait. Go outside.
Yeah, go check it out outside.
Hearing the music and everybody.
How about now? How about now?
Stop. Off. Go wait. Off something. Go back up.
13th annual A Toast to Dennis, the Night of Remembrance. An honor and privilege to have you all in attendance tonight, and thank you for your continued support. For those of you who are supporting the event for the first time, welcome. I hope you like what you see and what you hear, and you will return and support us again in the future or one of our many other events throughout the year. Last year, like everybody else, we probably had it a little rough, to say the least. We were still able to host a toast, but we had to do everything a little different, like everything else in 2020, virtually. Like a lot of things in the military, for those of us that are in the military, you know what I'm talking about. We had to adapt, we had to overcome, and we still had to accomplish our mission. This is done with a lot of effort of our committee and planning to host a virtual event, but still be able to accomplish our mission of supporting our military. I believe we accomplished that mission last year, and most importantly, still kept the support of our military needed because of each and every one of you. You are all great Americans, and I thank you for taking the time out of your schedules and your lives to be here tonight and to support our Memorial Fund. Let me introduce myself for those of you who do not know me, and I probably find it kind of hard to believe that if you do not know who I am. My name is Major Matthew Zielinski of the New Jersey Army National Guard. My name is also Patrolman Zielinski of the Howell Township Police Department. But most importantly, my name in the past, which I cherished and always loved, as I was always introduced, was Dennis's little brother, Matty. I am the proud brother of First Lieutenant Dennis W. Zielinski II, and it is my great pleasure and honor to represent the First Lieutenant Dennis W. Zielinski Memorial Fund as your MC for tonight's events. Tomorrow in America, we mark the 20th anniversary of the terror attacks of September 11th. We remember all those Americans' lives lost that day, and we hold those families in our thoughts and prayers and reflect to the changes this single event had caused in our American history. These changes, which have affected our military's involvement around the world and my generation's call to arms. Tonight, we not only recognize the sacrifice of First Lieutenant Dennis Zielinski, but remember the lives of so many Americans lost 20 years ago on that day. I can tell you this is true with Dennis. While a sophomore at United States Military Academy at West Point, he knew his calling was coming, and our country needed young men and women to soon serve our nation at war. It is also true for the three other great Americans who lost their lives alongside of Dennis on November 19, 2005 in Basra, Iraq. Staff Sergeant Edward Carlos, Corporal Jonathan Blair, and Specialist Dominic Hinton. 4 young men who served without question and sacrificed their lives so we can enjoy the luxuries and the freedoms we cherish every day. Tonight we remember all of our armed service men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our great nation. Tonight, we remember. Sorry, I didn't start that off in the beginning of the night, but if you do have a cell phone, a pager, an iPad, if you just want to silence that for the duration of our ceremonies, it is greatly appreciated. Also, we're on the topic. If you guys have seen throughout the night during cocktail hour, we do have, I believe, 6 service dogs here. All the service dogs do have their vests on. Just ask their handler and their soldier if it is our right to approach and to be able to touch them. So we're not startling them that you ask permission first before they can make a friend or before they can come over and introduce themselves to you. This time, I'd like to recognize a few of our honored guests in attendance. Seaman 2nd Class Charles Sona, United States Navy, and a World War II veteran. Our executive board members, if you please stand when I call your names. Our chairman, Steve Hopte. Members, Joanne Trust. Kevin Burke. Phil Duddy. Bill Rustico. Lieutenant Colonel Alan Van Saun. My parents, Dennis and Marion Zielinski. And last but not least, I'd like at this time to have our toast committee stand. There are far too many names for me to rattle off right here real quick. So everybody on our toast committee, the ones that planned this great evening that we have set forth before you tonight, that spent countless hours of meetings, getting donations, and making sure this night went perfect. These are the ones that made it happen behind the scenes. All of our acting military veterans and those actively serving, please stand. Our first responders, please fire EMS. Good job, Tiggley. And last but not least, I ask everybody to please stand, because you are the reason we are here. You are the reason we are able to continue to do what we do and have the support that we have for each and every one of you for continuing to support the Memorial Fund. Ladies and gentlemen, you are our honored guests for being here tonight, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I know I speak on my family's behalf, but we thank you for your continued support for the past 16 years, for coming out, for supporting us, to let us do what we do. So, my hands applaud you, and my heart is for each and every one of you for continuing to do what you do, and thank you. While I got everybody standing, I'm going to invite Tim Anderson to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight were the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Pastor Mark Pointer come up for our invocation.
Let us pray. Sovereign God, we come to you in the many faiths, traditions, and understandings that we have come to know you and love you. God, I ask you to bless this meal in which we partake, that it may nourish not only our bodies, but our souls as well. Bless this event as we reflect upon those that have sacrificed for the protection of our country, and that we may remember the joy they have brought to our lives. Bless those that continue to serve and those who have suffered in protecting us. Feed our minds so that we may never forget how we got to the space that we are in, and that is through those that have sacrificed to protect us. Loving God, bless this food and all that is surrounded with it. I ask this in memory of your faithful servant, Lieutenant Dennis Zielinski II, all those that have come to your nearer presence through sacrifice, and those that continue to sacrifice for our safety. Amen.
Good evening. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Matt Horn, and the Zielinskis have honored me by asking me to make the toast for tonight. So if everyone please charge your glasses. The Army has a formal set of toasts that typically go through at formal events like this, so if you would please follow my lead. We'll start off. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to propose a toast to this evening's event. I propose a toast to the President of the United States. I propose a toast to the United States Army. I propose a toast to the United States Navy. I propose a toast to the United States Marine Corps. I propose a toast to the United States Air Force. I propose a toast to the U.S. Coast Guard. I propose a toast to the New Jersey Army and Air National Guard. To the Guard. And finally, I propose a toast to our host. To our host.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lieutenant Colonel Alan Van Saun. I was Dennis's roommate at West Point and served with Dennis in the 101st Airborne. This evening, I'd like to talk a little bit about the table that you see here to my left. Perhaps as you entered tonight, you noticed a small table set for one. In place of honor, the table is the military's way of acknowledging that members of this proud profession are missing from our midst. They are prisoners of war, missing in action, and those, like my roommate, Lieutenant Dennis W. Zielinski II, United States Army, who were killed in action. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with us this evening, so we remember them because of their sacrifice. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their intentions, to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose in the vase reminds us of the families and loved ones of our comrades in arms, who keep faith, awaiting their return. The yellow ribbon tied so prominently on the vase is reminiscent of the yellow ribbon worn upon the lapel and breasts of thousands who bear witness to their underlying determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing. A slice of lemon on the bread plate to remind us of their bitter fate. The salt on that plate is symbolic of the tears as we wait. The glass is inverted. He cannot toast with us this night. The chair is empty. He is not here. Remember them, all of you who served with them and called them comrades in arms, who defended upon their might and aid and relied upon them, for surely they have not forgotten you. So tonight, we toast Lieutenant Dennis W. Zielinski and all of the fallen comrades and honor their memory. To Dennis.
You may be seated. This time, eat, enjoy, drink, be merry, get on your phones, start bidding. Save some money for the wine toss, cigars, our reverse auction, or if you'd like to buy me a drink later at the bar. Enjoy.
That is a magic question.
honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. Hi, I'm Jordan Codispati, and I'm a 3-year recipient of the Lieutenant Dennis Zelinsky Memorial Fund Scholarship. And this quote from Wreaths Across America encompasses my feelings of patriotism. Wreaths Across America is an organization that lays wreaths on veterans' graves at Arlington National Cemetery and various locations across the country and abroad. Dennis is buried at the United States Military Academy West Point, which is where I've chosen for our sponsored wreaths to be laid. Currently, there are 1,660 wreaths sponsored at West Point, which means there's a little over 5,000 to go. Our goal is for no grave to go uncovered this holiday season. By donating, we help honor and never forget Dennis and the brave men and women who've sacrificed their lives for our freedom.
I just took a quick look around. Everyone looks like they've licked plates, clean them clean. So if you are still eating, continue still eating. If you're going to talk at your tables, just ask if you keep it to a minimum. We're just going to continue on with our presentations today. At this time, the district manager in New Jersey for Congressman Chris Smith, Jeff Sagnett, is going to make a special presentation. Captain Retired Adrian Janusa is going to be escorting Seaman Second Class Charles Sona, United States Navy, World War II.
Good evening. It's an honor to be here with you tonight to represent Congressman Smith, who is not able to be here. But it's an even greater honor to be here to remember the life, service, and sacrifice of Lieutenant Dennis Zelinsky. And Congressman Smith thanks the Zelinsky Memorial Fund for making this night possible and for keeping the memory of Dennis alive and well. I'd be remiss if I failed to mention Carla Rodriguez, who introduced our office to the wonderful Zelinsky family. Looking for some assistance on some casework for the foundation. And later, to also introduce us to Al Pelci of the DAV Chapter 74, a friend of Charlie. And a special person tonight for all of us. Charlie, who is part of what is accurately called the greatest generation. Charlie, we've spoken on the phone, but it's good to see you here in person. A reminder to all of us of the many Americans of your generation, including Congressman Smith's father, who also served in Guinea, and my own father, who served in the Battle of the Bulge, and many other veterans who were mere teenagers at the outbreak of the war, like yourself. They were called to leave their families and their friends, their schools, their farms, and their factories, and go far away in an attempt to make the world a better place for everyone, including all of us here tonight. We are here to, of course, give you verbal thanks, Charlie. But I'd like to present a few tangible things to you, things that you've earned as well. First, I'd like to present to you a special United States flag that was flown over the Capitol on Wednesday, in your honor at the request of Congressman Smith and presented to us from the architect of the Capitol earlier yesterday. It is an honor for any member of Congress to fly a flag to recognize a special person, and tonight that is you, Charlie. So let me just say a few words of the certificate, which I'll present to you in full in a few minutes. That at the request of Congressman Smith, this flag was flown over the United States Capitol to commemorate the military service of Charles Stephen Sona, Freehold Township, in the 4th Congressional District of New Jersey. Born in Newark on April 28, 1925, Mr. Sona served his nation in the U.S. Navy during World War II, inducted on July 13, 1943. He served in the Navy Seabees 119th Construction Battalion during the war. and was honorably discharged at the rank of Seaman Second Class. Charlie would like to present this flag to you in honor of your service. Additionally, I would like to present the American Campaign Medal set and the World War II Victory Medal set. The American Campaign Medal was established by executive order by President Franklin Delano Roosevelt on November 6, 1942, for service conducted outside the continental United States, but within the American Theater of Operations between December 7, 1941 and March 2, 1946. On the front of this bronze medallion, the military might of the United States is represented in the form of a Navy cruiser, a B-24 airplane flying overhead, and the sinking of an enemy submarine in the foreground. In the background are several buildings reflecting the quote-unquote arsenal of democracy, which provided military supplies and equipment to the Allies throughout the war. On the back of the medal is an American bald eagle, the national symbol, and therefore it represents all the American people, including all of us here tonight. It is perched on a solid rock, which represents the firmness of resolve and the strength of America in prosecuting the war. The first person to receive the medal, the American Campaign Medal, was General George C. Scott, whose medal was presented on December 17, 1947. Charlie, I think you're in very good company. The second medal is the World War II Victory Medal, which may only be awarded to members of the armed forces of the United States who served on active duty in World War II between December 7, 1941 and December 31, 1946. This, established by an act of Congress on July 6, 1945, a figure of liberation standing full and with head turned, looking to the dawn of a new day, right foot resting on a war god's helmet, with the hilt of a broken sword in the right hand and the broken blade in the left hand. On the reverse side are the inscriptions, freedom from fear and want, and freedom of speech and religion, separated by a palm branch. Charlie, or as you were once known 77 years ago, Seaman Second Class Sona, thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
Paper, please. Thanks, sir. this time we have the privilege of having a guest speaker. I would say you can look in your pamphlets for a bio. We didn't know if we were going to have Christy this year. She was actually in contention to represent the United States for the Paralympics in Tokyo. So, I have to say their loss is our gain because Christy has been here, I don't even know how many years, 4, 3? I think more like 4 or 5. But she always comes, she's always here to support the Memorial Fund as we have to support her. She's an inspiration to many here because she's a familiar face that comes around. You can see a letter in the pamphlet that you have in your bags that she has written on behalf of the Memorial Fund. So it's my honor and my privilege to have Christy Gardner be our guest speaker this year.
Thank you all for being here tonight and for allowing me to address you. Many of you already know me, but some may not. I was injured in 2006 and suffered multiple fractures, abdominal injuries, and a spinal cord injury. At this point, I've broken 56 bones of the 150 I have left. So, after using leg braces and a wheelchair for about 8 years, my legs were at the point that doctors would no longer clear me for even adaptive sports, let alone anything else. Aside from using my wheelchair and sitting on my couch. As you can imagine, I was pretty depressed and I didn't know where to turn or what to do. My primary care doctor recommended amputations, but the VA said that they wouldn't cover it until it was a medical emergency and until I had full-blown gangrene. In 2015, Marion reached out and the Zelensky Foundation actually paid for my amputations with a civilian doctor. 9 weeks after my second leg amputation, I walked for the first time. It was actually pretty cool because my mom and my grandmother came to the prosthetic appointment so that they could see me take my first steps. They said they were there the first time, they want to be there this time too. 9 months after that, I ran my first 5K. I've done a 5K nearly every single month since then, including coming back to run Dennis's a couple years ago. It's a very challenging trip for our kids. You need to wait. It's okay. Just wait, buddy. It's kind of his job to give me a hug when I'm nervous, so he's like ready. I'm also in my 4th year now as assistant captain of the U.S. Women's Para Ice Hockey Team, or sled hockey if you've ever seen or heard of it. I was an alternate for Tokyo 2020 for track and field, and I'm currently 5th in the world in shot put and 11th in the world in distance. And last year, I was also fortunate enough to represent the United States at the World Championships for para surfing. All of this is thanks to the support of the foundation. Without that, I would have given up and actually ended my life those years ago. That's where my life was headed. I honestly had it completely planned out because I felt that my life was so limited. Honestly, if you were told that you can't do anything for the rest of your life except sit on your couch and be thankful you're not a quadriplegic, I mean, it wasn't what I had dreamed for myself. I've had no hope of doing any better or even becoming independent again. The doctors had gone through a 3-page list of things they said I would never accomplish in my life. That I would never walk, that I would never run or swim or bathe alone because it was a hazard to my health. I wasn't allowed to cook because I could have a seizure and the house could burn down. So there was literally no hope. But after my amputations, I got invited to some adaptive sports things and found out there were things that I could still do. And from there, breaking down what the doctors said as limitations, I was able to see that there was so much more that I could keep chipping away at. Now there's absolutely nothing that I can't do except for maybe wiggle my toes. That is the impact that this foundation has. You have all saved my life and the lives of so many others. Between the service dogs you fundraise for, the surgeries you've covered, the packages sent overseas to show that you care, and provide the warriors and canines with things that we need, you've probably had more of a profound impact than you realize. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for saving me and saving so many other warriors like me.
See, I didn't disappoint, right? Told you we had a great speaker. As you can see in the pamphlet too, there's other letters written, how Christy said, of what the Memorial Fund, not us, what you have, for supporting us and what we're able to do and what we're able to accomplish to help our wounded warriors, to help those serving overseas and those returning home. There's other letters written from past service members that we assisted. You can look in the pamphlet and read those stories from them also. But like I said, Christy, it's always a pleasure to see you. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And thank you for coming. And like, how can you beat that, right? At this time, even though it's not in my handy-dandy program right here, I think we're just going to switch around a little bit. I'd like to welcome to the stage my mother, Marion Zielinski.
Oh, okay. I guess I grow them big. We're going to run a short video. It's a video that I want to share with you. It's about a friend of mine, Shari Duvall. Shari was the creator of Canines for Warriors, the organization that we sponsor our service dogs through. I also want to welcome here Lindsay Snyder, who's the Director of Development, and her husband, Gary Snyder. And also Jason Snodgrass and his wife, well, his wife Rachel was supposed to be here, who are both former military. Jason is the Chief Operating Officer of Canines for Warriors. Shari and I became involved because we were two sad, broken moms. Shari's son served overseas, and he was a dog handler, and he was deployed several times, and when he came home, she noticed a big difference with how he was behaving. He had been a police officer and a dog handler. He didn't want to do it anymore. She was broken, but she realized that these service dogs were a connection. He had a connection to his family dog, and she watched it. She studied it. We became very, very close because I lost my son. I was a broken human being. In fact, I'm still broken. And this enabled us to create this bond. And I'd like to, in her honor, Shari passed away in February of this year. In her honor, I would like you to watch this short video just to gain a glimpse of what these service dogs do for our warriors.
Our service dogs are trained to help with the symptoms of post-traumatic stress.
These dogs are all shelter dogs. So they have their own issues, you know, just like we do. We just connect that way. And Canines for Warriors does that. They just go through and they find the best match they possibly can.
Canines for Warriors, I like to call it a recovery program. We bring the warriors here as a home to heal, a place to regroup, hit the reset button.
This dog and this program completely saved my life. Totally. And I think about that. You know, when I'm fishing with my son, doing something with my family.
Our hope for Canines for Warriors is that we never have another veteran suicide again. And we can save more lives. One life saved is great. We need to save more. We have to stop this 22 veterans a day committing suicide. That's our mission.
Our sponsored service dogs have been delayed. And here to talk to you when you want later on is Lindsay and Jason. If you have questions about the delay in the program and the sponsorship of these dogs, they will answer all those questions far better than I can. The second video is a video that was made many years ago, and recently it popped up on my computer, and I thought it was really worth watching. So please indulge me and watch this next short video.
My name is Marianne Zielinski, and I am the proud mother of First Lieutenant Dennis W. Zielinski II, who was killed in Beji, Iraq on November 19, 2005. We established a memorial fund in 2006, and it was to honor our son and to honor all of our military servicemen and women, and to aid and assist any of our wounded warriors that we can. I lost my son. I would give anything to have him back and write checks to organizations that would help our wounded. But Dennis was a young platoon leader, and his biggest fear was losing somebody in his platoon and having to face their parents. So we've just taken up where Dennis left off by taking care of our wounded servicemen and women for him. Yes, it is very, very rewarding. We have met incredible men and women who have sacrificed so much for you and for me. You can't pay that back. People aren't aware of the price that is paid by these men and women, and all they want is a thank you. And when you help them, they're like, why are you doing this for me? And that is what makes this so worth it. That, and when I go to bed at night and I say, good night, Denny, are you proud of me? And I know the answer is yes.
Trips again. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is a quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. It's a quote by Marianne Rodmacher. Funny how everyone says to me, "You are so strong." Little do they know that inside I die a little bit every day. Strong is not the mom that when 9/11 happened, Dennis was about to take his next class, which committed him to his service. Little do people realize that when 9/11 happened, I begged my son to please come home with us. Don't take this class, because if you do, you have to serve. We'll come and get you. Courage, strength, that you all believe I have went out the window. I knew we were going to war. I knew that my son would leave home to defend everything that we believe in. And I knew in my mom's heart that if he did, he would leave this earth and return to his Father in heaven. I guess you all remember that day. I even would venture to guess that you remember exactly where you were, what the weather was like, and actually what the air smelled like. I remember it because I knew that freedom is not free. You should all be proud of yourselves for living your lives with gratitude for freedom. Thank you so much for your continued support. So I find myself with this thought that I shared with you. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow. Since our warriors were killed in Afghanistan, it is so troubling that I am beginning my grief all over again. Reminded as the parents waited for their child to come home, covered by the flag of this great nation of ours, to an often unfriendly, unwelcome home. You all restore my faith in Americans, for which I am so grateful. Thank you for attending this event this evening in spite of COVID, because you are all true supporters of our military. Remember, 22 warriors commit suicide a day because of post-traumatic stress. The killing of those 13 warriors in Afghanistan recently have thrown many of the warriors that I am in constant contact with, and they are suffering, and now they are questioning, should I just end my life? We can't let that happen, folks, because we are able to come here tonight because we are blessed, we are still free. And because of your help and your support, we can get this job done for warriors like Christy. And we have many warriors here that have our service dogs. In fact, that video that I showed with my friend Shari, all of those were service dogs that we had sponsored in the past. We can do this together. So I am asking you all, bid on one of those baskets, even if you don't want it, even if you re-gift it. Get your cell phones out and please bid. And we need to show these warriors that their lives matter to us. Because if it wasn't for our DAV from chapter 74, that we attend their meetings, and for the men and women here, we wouldn't exist as a nation. So I thank you for your very kind attention, but I thank you for your attendance here, because you made the choice that you were going to come out and continue to support the men and women that give you your freedom. Thank you for your kind attention. And I will turn it over to Matt again. Thank you. May God bless all of you. Thank you.
We're gonna up the auction? No. No, the silent auctions close at 10:30. We're gonna push it up. The auction's still open. If you're on Facebook Live, I think we're streaming again. Depending on how the bids are looking, if my products are at the top, we might call it early. If not, we might extend those hours so we can get people more to bid. At this time, I'd like to have my father up for our reverse auction.
Okay. I don't know what I can say after all that. Christy is inspiring, but my wife is inspiring. Now, this is an important part of our mission here tonight, is we do our reverse auction for our service dogs. It's been great. We've been involved with our service dogs since 2012, and we're over 100 service dogs that we sponsored with your help and your money. We can't do it. You do it to help us. And if you realize what you've done over the years, we save lives. You have saved lives. You don't only save one life, you save two lives. You save a warrior that is in need of a service dog because they're isolated, they can't go out, and they're unfortunately looking to the end instead of the beginning. And if you talk to some of our servicemen and women that are here, you'll see the difference when they have their canine with them and what that does for them. And most of the canines that we get from Canines from Warriors are rescue dogs. So we're not only saving a warrior's life, making him getting back into the mainstream where he can go out with his family and enjoy life like we do every day. We save a canine that is appropriately trained for that warrior. What better combination can you have? And what better place can you invest your money for life? You can, the return on that, you see it. We bring our warriors here every time we have an event, and you have a chance to see what it does for them. And Christy certainly inspires me to keep our mission going. She's a crazy woman. I mean, what she does is amazing. If you look at her Facebook or you just follow her a little bit, and it's easy to do. Just put her name in there, and you'll see things that she does that makes you scratch your head. And you go, wow, what a woman. But that's what I think a lot happens to a lot of our warriors. When they can get a service dog, they get a comfort to be able to go out and enjoy life with their families again. So we're going to give it a try here. If you've been here before, it cost about $25,000 to train one of the service dogs. We usually start, and we will again tonight, start at $15,000. And our reverse auction is just what it is. We start here and go down. And we hope that everybody participates in whatever level you're comfortable with. Anything that helps. You know, we've had some events here where we were lucky enough and fortunate to have 15 dogs through one of our events. I mean, I was amazed, and it's shocking. Last year we had a virtual event. We didn't want to not have an event last year, and we had it. We were able to sponsor 6 dogs last year. 6 lives of warriors that will be changed forever, and 6 canines that survive for years with their handler and their companion. When they go to Canines for Warriors, they come out as a team, as one unit to survive together. So that's all we're looking for tonight. So our first bid, if anybody's capable and aware or willing, we start at 15, and we have ladies that will come around. We have a couple of iPads. There's little paddles, matter of fact, on your table. If you're looking to bid to help us out to save a life of a warrior or a service dog, just raise that paddle. We have ladies that will come around, take your name down, put your information in here when we'll move on. And what we're going to try this year is something a little different. We know we've had sponsors over the year that spend a few dollars. What we're trying to offer this year, I don't know if it makes it easier or it gives you some more incentive. If you donate $5,000 over 3 years, you're still going to be able to donate if you can pledge to us that you'll donate $5,000 over the next 3 years, you'll sponsor that dog down the road. It just gives you another avenue to go. But we'll start the bidding tonight, as we always do, at $15,000. Is there anybody that is looking to sponsor a service dog, save a life for $15,000? I know that's a lot to ask. We have one hand right over here. We have 2 hands that are sticking up right now. And I tell you, when we have someone that can sponsor a service dog, if that's not inspiring, I mean, it inspires me. And that's what keeps us going. You know, we have a roller coaster ride that we do every year. Our son's been gone for coming up to 16 years. But when we have an event like this, and when we bring our warriors, and when you see Chrissy, Mike Dowens, Mike Duncan, Jason New, Christy, Tyler, we know that donations and support for our warriors counts, and it means something to them. Freedom, we all know, is not free. And if there's anything that we can do over the years to help them out, that's our mission. You know, we have volunteers that are certainly, we couldn't do it ourselves. We need volunteers, and we have them, and we need support like you give us every year. And like Marion said before, COVID is a tough time. We had a rough year last year, just like everybody did. But there's so many, we have over 200 people here tonight. And I think whether you wanted to come out of the house, but I think you want to support our mission. You want to help our military men and women to get better and have a life like we all do. So, like I said, whatever you can do. We have 2 up right now, right? Joe Tort, we have 3 service dogs that are going right off the top. That's outstanding for us. Right over here. Yeah. Okay. We have 3 right off the bat. That's an outstanding start for us. We'll lower it to $10,000. Anybody interested in donating $10,000? And the same thing goes for you. If anybody donates $10,000, if they want to pledge next year, certainly we will let you have a dog named. We just need that support for our men and women that so desperately need help with a service dog. Yeah, why don't we, if we can, our warriors that have their service dogs, why don't you come up here so people can take another look at you? Mike, Christy, Tyler, Mike, oh, Mike, Tyler doesn't have a dog with him. Mike, Jason, where's Mike Duncan? There's Dave. And there's one always talking.
These two dogs went to class together. And they know each other, and they don't forget each other. And the funny thing is, when they get here, they want to be puppies again, but they can't because they are working. They are service dogs. They are always here to make sure that their warrior is safe.
And I tell you, if you didn't have a chance to talk to one of our warriors, get up and talk to them. And they'll explain to you how important the dog is to them. I mean, we all know how important our own dog is to us. You can have a crummy day, you come home, and when you see your dog, he takes you down about 10 levels. So I know they're doing a job for these young men and women that we have, that we're committed to protect our nation and wear our uniforms. Okay, so how about if we have anybody for $5,000? If you want to make a pledge, make it for 5. You can do it 3 years in a row. You'll end up with 15. Anybody that's interested in donating $5,000. Is that one? All right. See, they're putting your pitch in to get you to come out and help me out. Okay, well, how about anybody willing for $2,500 to help us support our, there's one right over here. Thank you, Terrence. Anybody else for 25? Oh, they're all talking. Okay, how about anybody for $2,000? Anybody for $2,000? Yep, one right here on this table. Just keep your paddle up, please. Okay, how about, can we get anybody for $1,000 that'll help us out? Anybody for $1,000? All right, we have, okay, now we're hitting a home run here. And that counts. All we need is 15 people. 15 people will give us a service dog. If you can afford $1,000, 15 people will give us another service dog that we can save lives with. There's one back here. Melissa. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Okay. Just keep your paddle up, please. It looks like there's about, I don't know, 8 or 9 for $1,000. Huh? There they are right there. I just want to wait a minute till we can catch up. We've been down, you know, with Shara, we were down in K9s in 2012 when we first got involved with them, and they had a small one-level house. And when we went down there, it was out in the woods, and they were doing such a good job down there. We had good conversation with them, and we thought that was a good place for us to invest our money that so graciously people donate to us. And I think over these last 9 years, it has certainly paid dividends for your money that you've entrusted to us to support our military men and women. Now they're in the process of building a mega kennel down here that will house about 240 dogs, I believe. So it's a long process. Unfortunately for us, it took them a while to catch up. We've had a number of dogs graduate over the last few months, and hopefully we're going to get caught up on our pending list where we're going to be certainly up to date. Okay, how about anybody looking to help us out for $500? Anybody for $500? There's one right here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, just if you would, just keep your paddle up. That all works for us. Certainly, you know, all our money's in one spot. We'll put it together and keep counting those dogs. They're all on the desk out there. They're all right. Yeah. All right, we have one right here. And if you go to, if you go on your bid pal, number 1, that money, if you can bid right on your phone, that money goes right to our service dogs. Item number 1, any money that you put in there goes right directly to the service dogs. Okay, that's what I meant. Number 2. Number 2 goes right to number 1 goes to our general fund where we send packages, help financially or any other way. Hey, Lindsay, why don't you step up here with Jason just for a minute? These two are from K9s from Warriors from Florida. We'd go down there a number of times for our graduations. If you have any questions after we're done, certainly stop and talk to them, and they will fill you in with what the progress they're making. They had the PAWS Act, was just signed in by the president, that hopefully it starts making a change with the government where they're going to start putting some money towards that effort. Okay, how about anybody for $250? Or anybody else that would want to donate any type of money for our service dogs. If you would, just keep your paddles up. We'll get to you. And I'm looking at, we probably at least have 4 or 5 service dogs. And I'll tell you what our fund generally does. Yeah, I thank you. I thank you for that. And what our fund generally does, whatever money we generally raise here specific for the service dogs, we try to match with our funds that we've had. So hopefully, if we have 4 or 5 dogs, we should be able to double that. We might be able to get 9 or 10 dogs out of this event to sponsor through K9s that will change, like I said, many lives that will be affected by your donation, your choice, and our appreciation to you. Our men and women, that's good. Thank you. Take your seats. Okay, if you would, just keep your paddles up. Huh? No, we just wait. All right, I want to thank you. I want to thank you again. If you have any questions, Lindsay and Jason are here. Talk to our service dogs, handlers that are here. And we want to thank you for your continued support.
Oh, they're coming?
Yeah, they do it now.
Are you guys are singing America? God bless.
And I want to
The hell are you singing? Yeah, that's the one. We want God bless the USA.
No, Proud to be an American.
That's the same one. Same song. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, real quick before we have the Docks of Rock play, I'd like to invite all of our veteran or all those that are currently still serving to come and step foot in front of the stage. He got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, one last thing. I'd like to have all of our current service members or those veterans who have served our country, please come to the front of the stage right now.
Words of a song. Please join in with the band and sing.
Welcomed home. So please join in singing. Use your best voice, okay? Ollie.
tomorrow all the things we've done. I worked all my life, and I had to start again. Just
Before
I'd also like to introduce Dennis's siblings besides Matt. We are a Gold Star family. This is our daughter Michelle, Shelley really, and our daughter Tiffany, and our son wandered off. So when he comes back, remember what a Gold Star family is, and that's all about. So thank you, God bless you. Stop growing so much.
ready to party?